Hello everyone. I have kept myself from going into my next week so that I could do a quick plan with you guys so that you could just see how the planner works. So this is my last week and it has, my week dashboard and all of my lists sorted and, everything throughout the week. So I am going to break into a fresh new week. I've been operating off of a to-do list today, and let me tell you, it made me miss my planner, but I wanted to keep it clean so that I could do this with you guys using my real schedule. I know it helps me a lot whenever I can see how people really do things and how they actually use products themselves in their real lives. And so that's what I'm doing right now. So right now, this is the week dashboard, and I like using it to create lists for different areas of life. So this one, you see this says theme. I like to create a theme for each of my days, and that helps me to give myself permission to focus on things and not have to focus on other things. So you see my week audit here. I've already got themes lined out there. So let's see, we've got rest on Sunday, of course. Evergreen Planner is my focus for Monday and Tuesdays. I like to do adventure days on Wednesdays. We're trying to get back to it this summer. We were in a good rhythm over the school year, but now that it's summer, there's some things that have changed. Okay, so focusing on homeschooling, we homeschool year round, and so I like making sure that extra homeschool lessons, I know which day I'm doing that, and that's on Thursday. And then margin, I like to have one day that is devoted to me doing whatever I need to do and feeling like I've got that permission to do that. And then Saturday is home and business. So those are the themes, and that helps me to kind of sort my tasks into it. So you see my to-do list from last week. This is how I write my to-do list. It is not just one long piece of paper, but it's broken up into sections. So I'm going to show you how I do that here. I've got my deep work, and I really think it's important to split up your deep work and your shallow work tasks, because you need specific times to do deep work. And those times need to be whenever you are not going to be interrupted multiple times, because it is deep work. And that's what makes it special. And so I like to know what I'm doing for deep work so that I know, okay, these tasks, I have to set aside that time so I can focus. And then I put my admin work, my more shallow work, here on this list. So, and then I like to, this is the little Dutch door flap. So I'll show you the Dutch doors here in a second. But I like to fold this over here and tape it down, and it creates a handy little list right there that I always just write my admin tasks on. So our planner is super flexible. You can use it really, truly however you want to. This is the way that I like to use it, and each member of our team has a slightly different way of using it, but we do share a specific way when we are training you how to use the planner in the Evergreen Collective. On our challenge path, that way that you can just see the power of it. And then we encourage people, though, to make it their own and use it however works best and supports you and your priorities in your life. So right now I am folding the Dutch doors because I'm going to pull them off, and I like to pull mine off all at one time just because it saves time to do that. And you see these come off, they're all perforated right here, and they come right off. And this is a very important feature of the planner, because what this does is it allows you to see really important information all week long as you're planning your days, you see, and you're time blocking and you're doing that deep dive into planning your days. You want to be able to see really important information about your week. That way you can plan in context. And this is what sets our planner apart from truly every other planner out there, is that you can plan your days in context, and you don't forget what's going to matter, because you see your week plan all week long, no matter what day you're on. And also you can see really important information, like here you can see these are my week goals that I keep here. And there's also a habit tracker so that you can track habits. So it's really handy to be able to see what you're trying to do. That way you don't overplan one day and get lost in what you're actually trying to do over the longer term period of your week. So what I like to do is then put my week goals right here. And I'm going to skip all the fun stuff on this live of, decorating with washi and whatever. Obviously, there's all the opportunities to do cool things like that. But I want to keep this focused on the functional side of the planner because honestly, that's what this is for. The decoration is just icing, right? Okay, so I will put my week goals here, and I'm not going to actually take the time to do that right now because I need to think about it. If I think about it in the process, I will, but I know that that's where those go. And then I just honestly flip back and forth and just to remind myself what all of my lists are. And so I have like admin here, I have other. I explained what admin is earlier in this, so when you watch the replay, you can see the difference between deep work and admin work or shallow work. Other list, I have a marketing ideas list. Well, I have a deadlines list here, which is helpful for me to track some deadlines that are across the whole month that I don't need to forget. Marketing ideas, I'm head of marketing at Evergreen Planner, so it's just nice to have this running list and I can just dump ideas here and then move them to the team's Trello whenever I'm ready to process them and put them there. And a homeschooling list, I have 2 children, the ages of 7 and 4, and we homeschool. So my 4-year-old is in kindergarten by his own choice, and my 7-year-old is, reading and math and all the good stuff. So that's super fun. All right, so we've got all of that here. So the first thing that I do once I've kind of broken down the categories for my list is I go through and I look at this is the annual booklet. So I just flipped over to the annual booklet. And the reason I could find my place so fast is I keep this binder holding them together. I actually have this one clipped to my July, but I do that so I can easily flip through and navigate my planner super fast. And so then I'm going to look at everything that I have going on this week, and I'm going to transfer that information from my month calendar over to my week agenda here. So let's see, we've already had Father's Day here, and actually I'm going to switch to a pencil, which I don't have over here. Hang on a second, grab one. Should have been more prepared. Okay. I like to do this with, I'll go ahead and finish this in pen, but I like to do this with pencil because sometimes whenever I am planning my week, I will see that there's too much in it. And that's when I start editing and saying, okay, what are we going to change? And so it's just really helpful to have it in pencil. So I'm literally just flipping back and forth to do this here. We've got church and I have a meeting on that day at 3, I believe. I put it under the washi because it's a personal one. I think it's at 3. I'll check that later. Tutoring at 11. And potentially a Q&A. I actually need to follow up about that. So see right here, I'm going to say follow up here because I have to make sure that that event is still happening, but I believe that it is. I'm not 100% sure. Q&A. And so, see, I'm just transferring the information and making notes as I go so that I don't forget about these key things that are happening this week that I need to be planning in context of. And then I also have a potential conference. I'm not sure. I'm still talking to my mom about if we're going to go to that. And I can put follow up here. So see, I've got just these 2 notes to draw my eye and remind myself. And this is what I do when I'm planning. I just dump whatever notes I need to right into the flow of my plans as I'm going. And this just helps me declutter my mind and get all my thoughts out on paper. So the next step that I will do is I will go and take all of these tasks here and I'm going to migrate. I'm going to check and see which ones have gotten done. I'll check those off. Anything that hasn't gotten done, I'm going to migrate that just over into this. I'm going to take the to-do list I've been working off of today so ready to be back into my planner after holding off so I could do this live. I'm going to take those things as well and stick them into where they need to go. And then I can work off of this list when I am planning my day. And so today is Monday. And like I said, I waited till this evening to do this. But I will go ahead and show you what my Monday looked like. And this is actually taking the principle of, I'll borrow this over here. This is taking the principle of writing down what you did. So that's actually when you are getting into planning consistently, the first advice that we give you is to write down what you did. And that is what you would use this. If you look at this and you're like, I don't know how to use this yet, just take this time blocker, write down what you've been doing, because it will start to help you to see what works, what doesn't work, and you can begin to see a rhythm actually flowing out of your days, a natural rhythm that you have that you can then own and iterate into the directions that you want it to go. And so I like to start my days at 6 a.m. and see, I'm adjusting this time blocker to where it follows the real flow of my real day. And then I then transfer into this my actual work, daily rhythms. And so in my day, I start work at about 4, or at least this is whenever I know I have a section for deep work time. So I'm just going to highlight that there to remind myself. We usually have dinner at around 6-ish. My husband and I work together on making sure that gets done while I can still work, usually using the crock pot. Sometimes he cooks it. And so then I've got this deep work. See this? And so I've got this space built into every day where I know I can do deep work. And then at about 2, I can start my shallow work. And sometimes I'll do this at a different time of day. This is just showing you kind of a typical day. But knowing that at about 2 o'clock, this is when I'm checking in with the community. It's when I'm posting on social media. It's when I also know that my kids are doing rest time during this time, but my husband is not off of work yet. He gets off work around here for my deep work session, and then he takes the kids completely. But with the admin work, I know that I might be interrupted a few times while they're in rest time for whatever reason, but I'm still on call as the parent. So I do my shallow work at that time, but it is when I'm transitioning into my work day. I used to work in the mornings and do the same type of thing early in the morning, but recently we have changed our schedule. My husband's work schedule shifted. So this is what it has turned into, and it's going really well. So, okay, so dinner and walk, and usually I take 30 minutes to an hour off to spend time with the family in between my deep work block. And that seems to be working right now. And then we have, so at the morning time, what I do is my quiet time and mother culture time. And this is honestly just such a good part of the day. And my kids will be waking up during this time, doing their morning list and everything. But this is the time that I have to spend time in the Word, to read, to study, do the things that really fill my cup. That's why I say, and mother culture, it's actually a Charlotte Mason term, which is popular in the homeschool space. So, but this gives me time to fill my cup. Like a lot of times I will do Bible journaling during this time, or I will create curriculum for my kids. It's just something that I personally enjoy doing. And I know I have this section of the morning to do that. And also as my kids come in, because this is not work, as my kids wake up, I can stop what I'm doing and pour into them and talk with them, read to them, in between them doing their morning list. And they know that we are getting ready for us to do breakfast and school starting at around 9:30, 10-ish, whenever we get to it. We like having slow mornings in this season. And so I'm not too worried about, oh, did we start right on the dot at specific times in the morning? I'm really more saving that kind of energy for the afternoon, because that is when I need to be more precise with how the day is going. So the morning, they know, it gets to be a little bit more flexible, and that's really fun. But as long as certain key things get done, like we spend time together in the Word morning basket, and then also my kids, my daughter specifically, that she gets in her math. That's a really important part. So I'll be doing, chores and school and all those things starting at about this time. And we've got morning basket. And a lot of times I like to write my tasks right into my time blocker. So you see, I've got my to-do list here, and I can write the task close to the block where they go right there, so you can see them next to each other. But I also like doing it inside the time blocker, because this helps me build time awareness in my own self. It's really easy to look at this and to say, oh, I can get 6,000 things done, right? When you look at your day. But then you're like, when you actually have to fit it in, each one of these is about 30 minutes long. And so you can get very realistic. Oh, this will take 30 minutes. This will take 30 minutes. You'll be able to see, am I packing so many expectations into my day that it's actually not possible? Do I have enough margin and white space so that everything flows well, so that I, am able to show up with excellence throughout the entire day? Or do I need to drop some things? And that's, again, where using a pencil, can really help you. I defaulted to using a pen because my rhythm is the same every day at this point. But when you're figuring all these things out, definitely use a pencil. That way you can erase over and over again and adjust things as necessary, and, write down what you did. So, and then make those adjustments that you want to. We actually have somebody in our community who does this in one color pen, and then she goes back and she fills it in again in a different color pen, so she can see how different her plan was with what actually happened. I absolutely love that, because she's able to then ask herself the questions about what would she change, and that's helping her a lot while she iterates forward her daily rhythms and her planning skills and all those things. And so, okay, so we'll have this math lessons. And then I know that in this season, morning basket and math lessons, like that's good for that block. And we'll be starting more consistent reading lessons with my son soon. But right now we'll bumping that to the next season. So, okay, so we've got lunch, and then and chores. And we've got just this block here where, we have our chores on such a streamlined rhythm that I really, besides maybe writing a few to-dos like fold the laundry, the 20% that needs to get done that I might forget about otherwise, but it's really important that gets done, I'll write that list here. But I don't just write down every single thing that I have to do every day, because I wrap up a lot of my daily tasks into just my rhythms. And so that automates them so that I don't waste time reinventing the wheel every day, but I'm using my week rhythms, my automations, my daily rhythms, all to take care of the things that are happening all the time. And I am only writing down the things that just need special attention here in my to-do list. And so that's how I like to do, especially for things like homemaking, housekeeping, those types of things. So laundry needs to be folded, and then kids' toys need to be gone through. And so I might write that down. And deep clean kids' room. That's something that's been needing to happen. So I've got that there. All right. And then now I'm going to pull this to-do list out. Like I said, I've been working off of this today so I could keep this clean for this live. And so I know that I have also to do dimensions on the website. Somebody reached out and said they weren't being able to find those, and I don't know how that didn't get migrated over, but we just recently did a website migration, so I've got to go check that out. And then that's a shallow work thing, so I've got that by the admin work block. And then we've got to order some more inventory, and then there was an idea. Let's see. And that needs to be talked about actually in our team meeting. So I went on default showing what my normal daily rhythms would look like, but included in here is our team meeting that actually starts at 6:30. And so I won't be doing a dinner and a walk with my family. Of course, I'll be eating dinner, but probably on the meeting that tends to happen. And that's at 6:30. So it's coming up here soon. And I wanted to talk to them about the collective ideas, some things that some members have had. Let's see, habits. Okay, so these are some things that I just wanted to touch on our meeting tonight. Our meeting is going to have a lot of things that we need to cover, but I just wanted to touch on that. Oh, and then I also need to send congrats badge. Okay, so a lot of times I write this in shorthand because I know what I'm talking about. And it might not make sense to anybody else, but I will write keywords and I know exactly what that's about. And so it's there, it's out of my brain. And that helps me out a lot. So we have also, and I'm going to be wrapping this up, but we also have our top targets, a space for top targets for the day. These are the most important things that you need to get done in that day, and you want to focus on them and make space for them. And we actually teach, and we're going to be doing this in July, a whole lesson on when you've chosen what your 3 top things are for the day, how to make sure using time blocking that those 3 things absolutely happen. So if you're interested in getting to go to that live and asking your questions, then you'll want to apply to the Evergreen Collective. You can just DM us, and we are taking applications that we'll be sending out invitations on Monday for the Evergreen Collective. So, okay, so we've got Monday when this live is happening. For those who are watching later, just DM us and we'll tell you when doors will be opening. Okay, so this is our top target section. We have what we call our micro journaling sessions, which is gratitude, lessons, and victories, where you take time and just write down a few things for gratitude, a few lessons you've learned lately, a few victories to celebrate. And we call this micro journaling. It's easy for us to just get into go mode and not slow down and really nourish our brains with these very important things. But we also know that filling up a whole page every single day just doesn't work for everybody. Some people are hardcore journalers and some people just need a touch point. So this is a touch point for you. And then we have our seasonal goals section. And I take my seasonal goals from the Rooted Goals workbook. I'm working through my upcoming goals right now using the workbook. And whenever I finish those, I'm going to put them here. They will be my goals for the quarter. And I can remember every day, again, that touch point for why does this goal matter to me right now? And sometimes remembering my why will be a different angle each day. But writing down my goals every single day, this is like such a game changer for getting your goals done, actually accomplishing them. This is what the top most successful people do in the world do. They actually just read their goals every single day. It is a practice across the board that they will be visiting their goals every day. And so we decided to make this a practice where you actually write them down every day, because when you write something down, it does something in your brain where you remember that better, and you continue to work on those things that matter to you, and it gets your subconscious on the team to join the team and constantly be, scanning the horizons and saying, is there an opportunity right now to make progress on my goals? And so this section is really important. It can be a total game changer just to write down your goals every day. And then of course we have our self-care prompts. And so I would sit here and just write down, what's one thing I can do today to really help myself? What do I need? Do I need to be careful of my hydration? Do I need to spend some time reading quietly? Whatever that is, this just reminds you to check in with yourself and see what you need. And then the movement section here. And like I said, you've got your week goals here and your habit tracker so that you can be thinking about this every day as you're planning your day. And what I usually do is, since I have clarity about my week goals, which like I said, on this plan with me, I actually have to do a little bit of thinking for this, and I don't want y'all to have to wait for my brain to work to fill that in, but I will take from my week goals here and I will say, okay, these things need to happen this week. Therefore, today, what's something that I can do to make progress? And I'll make sure at least one of my top targets is making progress on 1 or 2 or 3 week goals, whatever I've got here. I will reference my week goals as I'm setting my top targets for the day. I will use my time blocker to make sure I'm making space for my top targets in the day. And also, I will just be able to tend to, check in with my to-do list and everything that's split up. And what's great is I can look at my schedule and I can say, okay, I've got a lot of space available for deep work today. If I had maybe more than this, or whatever, sometimes on Saturday I'll have a big chunk, and I can look here and I can say, okay, what out of my deep work list do I need to tackle if I have this big chunk of deep work? And so I can just flip back and forth between my task lists, everything happening this week, and what my opportunities are for the day and my blocks for the day, and my, and I can see all my brain, just basically, it's like a whole dashboard for my brain. Everything is there that I need to know when it comes to using my time wisely and taking advantage of the opportunities that I have to make progress on the things that matter most. All of it's here. It is your brain's best friend. So I hope that this tour of the planner has been helpful to you. If you have any questions, just drop us a DM. We would love to answer them. We can even get on and send you videos explaining things or answering things. Just let us know what you need help with, and we would love to help you. But thank you so much for joining. And you guys have a wonderful, wonderful day. If I can figure out how to turn this off, I always do this.